What's up, Truth? This is Ben here, and I just want to take a moment to address. I'll probably start off a lot of sentences like that, but I was watching a couple of videos. I watched one the other day by A.D. Robles. I think I'm saying his name right. He's got a good channel. I've heard of him before, but I just started watching him a little bit more, and he did a video on Shy Lynn that I really started off, to be honest, and I was just gonna dump all over his video because I like Shy. I've been a fan of his music for a long time now. And obviously, I'm Reformed and Calvinistic, and he raps about election and predestination. It's cool to see somebody with talent, work that into a musical form. And so I made a video, but I was driving, and it just didn't turn out the way I wanted it. I didn't really have my thoughts together. And then I just got done watching another video by the Officer Tatum, who's not Reformed, who's a black guy, who's a conservative, who does a lot of videos on YouTube. And it's just the pandering and the appropriation that I see. And I think AD really nailed it when he was talking about Shy in his letter that he wrote in the Gospel Coalition. And I said this in the video when I was filming it, but it's irritating to me that I have to, when I'm talking about things like this, when I have to use the term white Christian, the fact that I even have to use that sometimes is just infuriating. It's just annoying because I shouldn't have to, and it's bad enough when I see the non-church, just getting caught up in this cultural, social frenzy where there's not a lot of facts, but there's a lot of emotion flying around. And when I see it out there, I expect that because they're carnal sinners. They're unrepentant sinners who are living fleshly lives. They don't care about facts. They don't care about truth. They don't care about things like that. They are caught up in themselves. So I expect that. But when I see people like Shy Lynn, especially in the Reformed movement, just do so much projecting, which is what he did. And I think go watch AD. Go to his channel, subscribe to him, watch his video on Shy because he did a good job. Because in it, Shy talks about he's writing to one of his white sisters, to a white lady, and he's talking about the struggles he's had as a black man, seeing a cop in the rear view and feeling that he has to act a certain way. Keep your hands on the thing because a cop might be racist. Well, I gotta have car seats in the back because maybe he'll be easier on me. Or when he sees a white woman or a woman walking towards him and cross the road, he doesn't because they're racist. Or he doesn't know if his white friends are just friends with him because, they want to check off they got the black person box. I got a black friend so they can tell their other friends, well, okay, I have a black friend, And he projects onto other people so much racism. And it's sad to see somebody in our movement, with Reformed thinking, theology, doctrine. And I know he's very smart. I've seen him talk about, the 5 points in Calvinism and total depravity when he's done interviews, and he knows all this. But to see someone like him, and not just Shy, I'm not just picking on him, other Christians who know theology and doctrine, to just see them get swept up in this, it's very disheartening, and it's frustrating. And to see somebody, writing something like that where it seems like they're putting their race above their religion almost, and to project onto other people, like why not ask your white friends, for you to say, well, I don't know if they're projected, they just want a black friend, so I don't know if my white friends are really my white friends. Well, that's your responsibility to figure that out. And if you feel like that and those people aren't racist, they truly just want to be your friend, then you're living in sin because you're projecting your thoughts and your ideology onto them without confirming that you're actually correct. That's not fair. That's not Christian. And obviously, as Christians, if you're like me and you hold to a literal 6-day creation, there's no races. It's just a different. The amount of melanin in our skin is different. So obviously, we don't ignore history. We don't ignore the struggles that different people have gone through. But to then start there and then work backwards into Christianity, you're just playing into the game that the devil wants you to play in. It's not helpful. You're not helping people. You're not helping black people by, perpetuating this idea, these stereotypes about white people, and then, working your feelings in as if that is concrete evidence and facts. It's not. And I was watching Officer Tatum's video, we got all these white celebrities just up there pandering, and I expect that from them, just there's obviously an agenda behind all of them, and they want to feel that they're signaling their virtue and they're on the right side of history. But, the only history I'm interested in being on the right side of is not secular history, it's not American history, it's church history. And having studied church history to some degree, I can tell you that if you were on the social justice side of this movement, you're on the wrong side of church history. Churches, people in the future, they will look back, they will judge this movement for what it is. I hope you're on God's side of history, not the culture side. All right, guys, I hope that helps. I would definitely advise you to go watch AD's video. It's much more depth. He goes through a lot of it. You can go read Shai's letter on Gospel Coalition. Decide for yourself. But just use your brain. Don't use your emotions. Don't get caught up in it. Just sit down, read it, and say, is this biblical, conservative, actual Christianity, or is this something else masking itself as Christianity? All right, thanks, guys.